What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, D and Dual Commentary. We got Snooze at the top, 1006 versus Nesh at the bottom, 1815. Classic matchup here, Shaddolls versus Burning Abyss. Alright, so you see that Nesh was able to make Dante turn 1 using Seer and Graph. No, Seer and Skarm, sorry. Using Seer and Skarm. And it looks like he milled 3. Oh, my bad, it was graphed. my bad. He's got himself a supply squad on board, and he's going to run over Mathematician. I believe this is Falco, probably, because I think he went Mathematician, Squamata, and then Falco. And looks like Nesh, is he going to break out Downer Magician already? Yes, he is. Okay, I think he did that because he wanted to get rid of his Skarm, and he wanted to trigger supply squad as well. So he gets himself a draw during the end phase. He'll obviously be able to activate Skarm. Isn't it amazing? Burning Abyss have 3 monsters to their name outside of Dante. And they are already a good deck. Now it looks like during the end phase, he's going to flip Falco using Sinister Shadow Games. Draw a card for Beast. And then he's going to be able to summon that same beast using Falco's effect. And it looks like Beast is going to be triggered. Keep in mind he already has enough on board for an Arcanite Magician. And, I mean, I would have to imagine if Snooze does not have a Shadow Fusion, that he has to have one by now. Here's how I look at the meta, right? I think Burning Abyss is probably... Wow, he didn't discard even a Shaddol. He discarded a Mathematician. That was unexpected. He banishes a Beast. I wonder why he just... Well, no, he couldn't use Beast twice in one turn. There's that fusion. I believe that this is probably... I don't know. I think it's the best deck of the format right now. I think that it can't beat Shaddolls, though. I think it can beat everything else. I think that Shaddolls just destroy Burning Abyss because... It takes Burning Abyss struggles way too much to kill Shaddolls boss monsters. Like, Burning Abyss can kill most decks boss monsters, but not Shaddolls. Like, you have to jump through too many hoops. Shaddolls don't give a fuck about if your monsters float. They're just gonna summon Construct, and they're just gonna be like attack, 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 and all your shit's gonna keep blowing up. So that's not good. You see that Dragon blows up Supply Squad, and then Super Polymerization is going to be played. And unfortunately for him, he's able to summon a copy of Winda. Yeah, I guess in hindsight, it was probably bad that he used that. It was probably, well, the Downer Magician, he had to do it because of Supply Squad, but it actually worked against him in this situation. Strictly because, you know, Winda is dark, so it gave him access to use Winda. Now he's going to take 3 shots to the face, 22, 22, and I believe the 19. He sets 1, 2, and okay, just pass his turn. And here's the problem. Other decks like S-Knights, they have other ways of special summoning during their opponent's turn, such as Call of the Haunted. Batterymen can do the same thing. They can use Call of the Haunted. They can use Artifact Sanctum and whatnot. This deck does not. You see that he's going for a BLS, which is good. It's legitimate. It can get the job done. That's what I was thinking, and it's not going to be hindsight. What I was thinking is, I believe that's his only light monster. And that should be GG because that counts as his only special summon for the entire turn. And even if Nesh was the Dark Hole, Snooze's Field, which I'd have a hard time believing Nesh even plays, he still wouldn't be able, it wouldn't kill Midrash, it wouldn't kill Winda, not to mention he would go +1, well, he would get a 1-for-1 here, he would technically let him draw, and then he would let him get another fusion. So yeah, technically he'd end up -2 in the Dark Hole exchange, and you see Nesh scoops it up. So yeah, and here's the interesting thing. Shaddolls prices, I might do a video on this. Shaddolls prices have been plummeting. Like, okay, remember El Shaddol Construct? Awesome card. Very good artwork. The card is amazing. Nobody disputes that. This card was $25 at the sneak preview. It's less than 15 bucks right now. And El Shaddol Fusion, same thing. It was like a $25 card. It's now currently about 16 bucks. The only card that hasn't dropped is Winda, and I think people are starting to realize just how powerful of a card she could be. I don't know. I think Shaddolls are a fantastic deck. They're tier 1. If anybody says that they aren't, they're just out of their mind. I think the reason why a lot of people feel like me, like I feel confident playing against Shaddolls, is just because everybody has more hate for Shaddolls right now than any deck in the format. And again, I think Burning Abyss is probably the best against most decks. I just don't think it can beat Shaddolls. Well, you know what? I don't know. I want to say Shaddolls is the best deck because I don't feel like Shaddolls has a bad matchup. Like, I don't think that there's... Maybe Prophecy is a bad matchup. Well, no, Evil Swarm is a bad matchup. But outside of, like, Evil Swarm, Shaddolls really don't have a bad matchup. And this matchup is just... They take this any day of the week. Because at least with Noble... I mean, at least with S-Knights, you know, like, at least if they're playing against S-Knights, they have to worry about, you know, Shadowmare and stuff. If they're playing against this deck, if they're playing against Burning Abyss, they don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Like, they have to worry about Vanities. Both decks play Vanities, obviously. But they don't have to worry about getting hit by Soul Drain. They don't have to worry about getting hit by Shadow Mirror. And you see that Nesh, obviously, is going for the double Dante board. It's really, honestly, it's really one of the best boards that the deck can make turn 1. And I say that because it provides the deck so much offense. Like, you can't basically let them go double Dante and not respond because they basically have 5,000. They have 5,000 damage on board. All right, so you see he's milling. He's going to trigger that. He's going to trigger that Sir, getting him that graft on board. Interesting that he didn't use any Skarms. Hit a Solemn Warning. We see some blind MST action here. And a Phoenix on Wind Blast. And there's that El Shaddol Fusion. And you just know that he's probably going to go Equips Wyvern and something else. I'm not sure. There's that Equips Wyvern. And then that's that Shaddol Beast. Some people say that the deck doesn't need Equips Wyvern. I mean, I understand. It's just, man, being able to search out your Dark Arm, just really, really good. And then she puts Falco in the grave. So not only is he going to be drawing during this exchange, but he gets a Falco on board, which is pretty much, I mean, it's really difficult for this deck to actually kill it, because you have to think that, you know, Burning Abyss, their main way of killing monsters, face down monsters, is Alucard. And I mean, if you blow up a Falco face down, it still triggers, so he just doesn't care. All right. Now that El Shaddol Construct is on board, I wonder how Nesh is going to deal with that. Like, the problem is Burning Abyss have like 2 outs to like Construct inherently. I'm not talking about spells or traps. I'm talking about straight monsters. Like, here's some outs that they actually have to it, like BLS and like Polites. That's it. Like, okay, I get that they have Phoenix and Wind Blast and Karma Cut. Those are great, but if you don't have access to them because they get MST'd or you don't draw them, I feel like Construct just beats the shit out of your entire deck. Like, you can't do anything. He could have 5 Dantes on board, and Construct would give no fucks about any of them, and it wouldn't matter what he made. All of this shit it would all lose to Construct. You can't Acid Golem over this, and there's that BLS, which means he now has access to the Dark Arm Dragon. Now, granted, I don't think he has any Darks in his graveyard currently, which means that I would definitely go after the Falco. I think that... Which one has Torgat on it? Nope. I'd probably banish this one right here, just because the Torgad's on it, I don't have to worry about it. Either that, or I'd banish the Graph, just make the decision easy. Because... Alright, so he banishes the Dante. That's what I expected. This is a non-floating Dante, because it has Torgat on it. And I wouldn't even be surprised, honestly, if Snooze didn't even attack. Like, I honestly don't see that much that you gain from attacking, so I wouldn't even do it. And he's not going to attack. I actually think that's a good decision. Like, if you attack this with El Construct, El Shaddolls Construct, yeah, you kill it, but then your opponent just gets a better option. So it's like, what do you really accomplish? I'd rather just leave it on field, and if you can't get rid of it, then BLS will just banish it. And she can't, I mean, Dante can't attack over anything right now. So Nesh just getting some good rips right here. Preparation of rites, that would indicate that he's running a ritual monster. I don't even know what to say to that. Okay, so he gets his Skarm. So, I mean, he got a +1 off of that. Here's where the decisions come in. What exactly are you going to do with that Skarm? I mean, you can hypothetically make Alucard, and you can pop the Falco, which is right here, knowing that Snooze has no monsters in his graveyard to summon Falco with. I don't think he has Squamata. I could be wrong. He could have a Squamata in there. I don't believe he does have a Squamata. If he does have a Squamata, then obviously you can't pop Falco. I just don't know if there's a rank 3 that does anything. You know what I mean? I really don't know if there is one. I mean, if you can get the Pleiades, there's that. But outside of that, I'm not sure if there is any other rank 3 that actually does anything. And quite frankly, if Snooze has a Sinister Shadow Games, this game is over. It's over. It's not even going to be close. He's gonna run Nesh out the gym. All right, so you see Dante in attack mode. He's gonna activate its ability, removing Graft. It's gonna mill 3. 1, 2, 3. Another preparation of rites. What is going on? And he also milled all his supply squads. Well, at least 2 of them. I want to know what ritual he's playing. Yeah, see, Shadow Fusion is only, it's less than $18, but it was like 25 at one point. And you also see that Skarm is summoned. I kind of feel stupid. I'm like the only Yu-Gi tuber who didn't like pick up Duels Alliance stuff before it got expensive. You know what I mean? Like every Yu-Gi tuber immediately like, man, did you see Waffles? That motherfucker had all 3. He had all 3 decks built completely like day 1. So I mean, I'll say this though. This is the last time that I'm gonna let that shit happen. Whatever, you know, future sets come out and we get like 2-3 archetypes in one set, I'm just gonna pick one of them up. Like, I mean, for anybody who made the initial investment in Yang Zing, I feel bad for you because that was the one archetype that flopped, but the other 3 just got more expensive. So if you would have picked up the Nebs when they were like $12 a pop and just bought like 6 of them, 2 play sets, you could have flipped them for, you know, when they were 40 and just made a fucking killing. $240 when you invested maybe 60. You see a special summon of Skarm. He has 3 Skarms on field. He can only trigger that once per turn. Keep that in mind. He goes for Acid Golem. I guess he wants to suicide with BLS. Okay, that's one way to get rid of BLS. It does not kill Construct, however. There's Sinister Shadow Games, and if he has a Dragon set or he has a Squamata set, this game's over. Because he has no other way of getting over BLS. And well, actually, I'm not going to second guess myself. I told you guys that if he had a Sinister Shadow Games, the game was over. And I believe that. You see that he flips over Squamata. Acid Golem is gone. He drew a card because of Beast. Squamata dies, but it doesn't matter. That's Falco, right? Yeah, that's Falco. So all Falco's going to do, he puts back Beast from Falco. And Nesh used 2 Skarms, but he can only trigger 1, so doesn't really matter. Nesh has to attack with those Dantes, otherwise he'll leave him in attack position, which he definitely doesn't want to do. He goes into Downward Magician, which does open him up to getting super polyed for Midrash, but I don't know if I see that as a possibility. You see the flip summon for Beast. I remember thinking Beast was such a bad card the first time I ever played against Shaddolls because it was level 5 and Man, I could not have been more wrong. The card's fucking ridiculous. Alright, so you see that Mathematician gets him a free dragon. And there's Dark Arm Dragon. Looks like we're going to see an OTK here. Because I don't think that it matters how many monsters Nesh can summon. Dark Arm can pop 3 things. So that's kind of a problem. It's funny, I actually totally forgot about Dark Arm and that he even had it. And you see there is the OTK. He shows Ness that he had Super Poly and Solemn Warning. And I'm sorry, that was a beatdown, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I think that Burning Abyss are a fantastic deck. I think they might be the best deck of the format. They cannot beat Shaddolls, though. Maybe that is a contradiction in itself. I don't see them beating Shaddolls. Like, maybe out of 10 matches, they might win 2, 3 tops. Thank you guys for watching, as always.